Great night to get it done, to take advantage of the home crowd, the energy, how poorly we played in game 4 to try to make the necessary adjustments energy-wise and focus-wise to get it done. And we're in really good shape right now to have this opportunity tomorrow, and looking forward to it.
Standing over here on the right.
Yeah, Anthony Slater, Barry News Group. Steph, I know Kyrie has had a huge series, but what are the shots you can give him, and what are the shots that you kind of need to take away when you've looked at film with Kyrie?
The ones where he's in space and has time to, knife through the defense, get in the paint, those are the ones you want to try to take away. He's made a lot of contested shots. He's, gotten to the basket a little too much to our liking, and I think, for the most part, you have to live with some of the shots because he has the ball in his hands a lot, and he's such a clever creator of space and is a tough shot maker in certain situations. You don't want to let him toe up on the three-point line. That's another adjustment we want to make from game 4, and just try to make him play in the crowd as much as possible. That's the biggest thing, and just staying locked in for 48 minutes, knowing he'll have some runs, but over the course of the game, you want to just make it tough.
Tim on the back.
Tim Kawakami, Mercury News. Steph, did they play? We saw they were certainly more physical last game. Was that significantly different than they'd played you just even earlier in this series?
Not really. We didn't play well at all. We didn't give any kind of resistance in that first, I'll call it first 3 minutes, where they just got real comfortable on our miscommunication, on our we got separated from bodies a little too much and let them toe up the three-point line. And in that building, especially if you allow them to get their three-point game going early, they feed off of that energy. And so that wasn't a good recipe for us to try to get a win. And knowing coming into game 5 that they're going to try that same game plan, we just got to play with more force, more energy, and just lock in defensively. We scored enough points to win. We just didn't get any stops.
And just for you specifically offensively, you were off the ball almost from the start. Is it harder for you to deal with that when you're off the ball, or is it easier when you're on the ball?
Off the ball is more opportunity for them to try to jam stuff up. I think a lot of our sets allow for me to get some runs off the ball, coming changing sides of the court, coming off pin downs and stuff like that, trying to draw a couple of defenders maybe for some openings for others, or get me a shot. But I think when I have the ball in my hands, I just got to be a little bit more aggressive than I was in game 4. Just trying to get in the paint, make plays, and not let them try to take me out of it.
Just following up on that question, it seemed like they were double teaming you a lot, particularly coming off screens and stuff like that. Just so how much more problems does that create, first of all? And second of all, how do you beat it?
They've done a lot in the last 3 years we played them, and something we expect adjustments to make, but you still have to play with force and make them work defensively, even if they want to trap or blitz at the top of the key. Because a lot of good can come out of that, especially if I can turn the corner or drag those defenders away from the line and move it on, and we have a 4-on-3 on the backside. So you just can't play passive. And in the first 4 to 5 minutes, we didn't really set the tone of the pace that we wanted to get to, mostly because we were taking the ball out the net, or they were getting to the free throw line too much. So we want to be able to establish that pace early.
And just one follow-up. How do you play better perimeter defense against a team that makes 24 threes?
Out of those 24, I'd say probably 10 of them were just mental breakdowns and giving them open looks. And they're obviously great three-point shooters. If you give them open looks, they're capable of making it, and they can make them in flurries. So just staying connected to bodies, trying to stay close on screens, on switches, making sure we're talking and communicating. And the biggest thing is early in the game, you can't let them get going because they feed off of that.
Conrad.
Connor Letourneau, San Francisco Chronicle. Steph, how do you feel like Mike Brown has transitioned back into his role as lead assistant, and how smooth of a process has that been?
He's been great. He's been as vocal and present as he's been all year. Just giving his input when he needs to. Obviously, he's not talking as much in timeouts and huddles and stuff like that, but from game to game and in practices, he's given us that Mike Brown presence that he brings to the coaching staff and he's brought all year. So it's obviously nice to have Coach Kerr back and the normal flow, but doesn't mean anybody else just falls to the back, to the shadows. They all have huge impacts on our game plan and our adjustments, from game to game.
Tanya, standing in the back.
Tanya Ganguly, Los Angeles Times. What are some of the things that you've learned about KD since you became his teammate that you didn't know before you guys were on the same team?
As a basketball player, I knew pretty much everything he brought to the table. Playing against him for all 8 years of my career and having played with him on Team USA and stuff like that. So I knew exactly what kind of, addition he'd be to the style of play that we have here and just bringing his level of efficiency, his versatility on both ends of the floor. He's obviously upped his rim protection and defensive presence in that sense, all those blocks he got all year. So that was a little change, but for the most part, he's been the KD that we expected him to be, and even greater. So it's been great.
Go on the left side.
Joe Varden, Cleveland.com. Steph, there's been talk over the last few days just about the Warriors core, and you've just gotten together and you're going to be together likely for a while and probably be in this situation for years to come. As a competitor, is there any part of you that hopes the Cavs core stays together and that you see that maybe there are multiple matchups? I know we've had 3 in a row, but that this goes on for a long time against LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin, those guys?
I think it's great for the league what's going on right now, for sure. There's great storylines, I guess, you can follow all year, and for us to be back in this situation, like you said, this is the 3rd time, and it's the level of competition and intensity in the finals is unbelievable, especially when you have that history with the opposing team. So. We love to be in the finals every year. I'm sure they would love to be in the finals every year, and the back and forth. A lot of things happen in the league that you can't really predict, but that would be good for everybody involved, for sure.
Michael, right here.
Steph, Michael Grange from Sportsnet in Toronto. Last year, your numbers, at least over here, at least fell off games 5 through 7. How much did that stick with you over the summer, and have you let it go at this point, or are you kind of still thinking about trying to finish this series very strong?
This year's a totally different year. I actually wasn't thinking about that until you asked me. So I'm confident. I'm, energetic and positive about the opportunity we have in front of us tomorrow. The past is the past. It's definitely fueled us, all year. Just trying to keep that hunger to get back to the stage, but we understand we're one win away from getting the job done, and we have a chance to write our own story this year. So this is going to be a fun night, and want to just keep a clear focus on what's going on in the present, for sure.
Just as a follow, where were you physically in terms of a percentage this time a year ago? As compared to you are not presuming you're 100%. Were you 80, 90, 70?
That's such a subjective kind of. Actually, I don't even remember how I felt back last year. So long ago.
Thanks, Steph. Coach Kerr will be right up.